I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, December the 23rd, 2015. 3 Israelis were injured today during a stabbing attack in Jerusalem. The 3 were stabbed by 2 Palestinian terrorists at the Jaffa Gate in Jerusalem's Old City. Israeli border police officers shot the terrorists, killing one of them. The other died later of his injuries. 2 of the victims were said to be in serious condition and were taken to Sharansky Medical Center in the city. The third in critical condition. According to Israeli authorities, he was hit accidentally by friendly fire during the incident. He was taken to Hadassah Hospital in Ein Kerem. Palestinian media identified the 2 terrorists as Anan Abu Habsa and Isa Asaf from the village of Kalandia in the West Bank. A Hamas terror cell was uncovered in the Arab neighborhood of Abu Dis in East Jerusalem. Israel's security agency, the Shin Bet, discovered the large cell, which planned to carry out suicide bombings and other terror attacks in Israel. They also found a makeshift laboratory in the neighborhood being used to build explosives for the attacks. The arrests of some 25 Palestinian members of the cell were made by the Shin Bet over the last few weeks and released for publication just today. They said the case reveals and highlights again the involvement of the military arm of Hamas from the Gaza Strip, which operates continuously with the intent of carrying out mass casualty attacks within Israel and the West Bank. The IDF has warned residents of Israel's north to stay away from border areas with Lebanon, in particular telling farmers to limit their activity near the border. This is in light of rockets that were fired from Lebanon at Israel on Sunday. Those were said to have been in retaliation for an airstrike that killed notorious terrorist Samir Kuntar in Syria. Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah claimed Israel was responsible for Kuntar's death and has vowed revenge. In addition to the instructions from the IDF to residents and farmers, other security protocols have also been put into place in the area in light of the situation. U.S. President Barack Obama signed the Hezbollah International Financing Prevention Act of 2015 into law last week, after it was adopted unanimously by the U.S. House and Senate. The bipartisan bill increases pressure against the terror organization and provides the U.S. administration with additional tools with which to target Hezbollah's financial resources. The American Jewish Committee praised the signing. AJC Associate Executive Director for Policy, Jason Isaacson, said the bipartisan alignment was vital. He said Hezbollah is not just a global terrorist organization that has murdered Americans, Israelis, Syrians, and citizens of other nations. Hezbollah's drug business, money laundering, and other criminal activities are critical for funding terrorism. The Greek parliament has adopted a measure to recognize a Palestinian state. It became the latest European legislative body to do so, adopting the measure almost unanimously yesterday during a special parliament meeting which was attended by Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. Britain, Ireland, and France have passed similar motions, which are also non-binding and largely symbolic. The Anti-Defamation League called the resolution deeply disappointing. ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt said that, quote, "it will do nothing to promote constructive Israeli-Palestinian engagement." Greenblatt said, as with other instances of legislative bodies and government recognizing a Palestinian state, this step only serves to undermine the real path toward a solution to this decades-old conflict: direct negotiations between the parties. Greenblatt added that it would have been more appropriate and productive for the Greek parliament to condemn the ongoing wave of Palestinian violence and incitement against Israel and urge a resumption of direct talks. A new discounted supermarket has opened in Israel's south thanks to an initiative of the Jewish Agency, the UJA Federation of New York, the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, the Israel Venture Network, and private donors. Tzarchaniyat Ha'ir, or City Mart, opened its first branch on Monday in the city of Sderot. More branches will follow soon. The co-ops are meant to provide a low-cost shopping alternative in socioeconomic challenged communities in Israel's northern and southern ends. Jewish Agency Chairman Natan Sharansky spoke at the opening on Monday, as did UJA Federation of New York lay leader and board member Paul Siegel, who said the project was not just about economics. He said it's also about dignity and empowerment, enabling low-income individuals and community members at large to find their voice and contribute to the creation of new systems for food provision. And looking now at our programming for tonight here on JBS for Wednesday, December the 23rd. Coming up at 8 o'clock, author Seth Siegel sits with Bret Stephens of the Wall Street Journal and Dr. Ari Zaban of Bar-Ilan University to talk about Israel's groundbreaking work with water. That is a program of the Jewish Week and American Friends of Bar-Ilan University from Temple Emmanuel's Skirball Center. Then at 9 tonight, part 1 of a discussion of some of the most significant events of the past year, including the attack on a kosher supermarket, the Iranian nuclear deal, the relationship between President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the safety of Jews worldwide. That's with Betty Ehrenberg of the World Jewish Congress, Stephen Boehm of the American Jewish Committee, columnist Eric Yaffe, and author and professor Thane Rosenbaum. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, December the 23rd, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.